Good evening. Welcome to Choices Podcast. We are at choicespodcastofficial.com. You can find us on YouTube by just Googling Choices Podcast Official. We ask that you go to our website, and if you would please subscribe to Choices Podcast in the little box that pops up. So the more subscriptions we get, the more streaming stations we get to get. So we're growing. We're having fun. People love our podcast. It's like two guys sitting around a fire discussing everyday issues for way cool people. Tonight, the topic is what to do when you feel overwhelmed. That's a big one.
Sure is.
What I do when I feel overwhelmed. I was in trial last week. Carcass took the show, and everyone's trying to fire me, saying that I'm not needed anymore, so I should retire. So it's all fun. We have a good time. So
we're not gonna fire you just yet, Brett.
I've had a virus. I don't know if anybody out there's had it, but I always thought it was like my sinus infection or something. Dude, it is a virus, and I've had it 2 weeks. I'm on the back end of it. I'm feeling better, and my feeling is overwhelmed from being sick.
Well, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed right now because I think I got what you had, and must be something going around. Texas is one of those places that doesn't have a super hard freeze, like some of our neighbors in the north, where they get a hard freeze and it kills a lot of bacteria and a lot of viral things, and Texas doesn't get that benefit very often. So anyway, it's hitting with full force. It started about Saturday afternoon, but we're going to power through it and not be overwhelmed by it.
No, we're going to hit it right in the nose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, switch.
Boom.
Yeah, that's it, babe. So what kind of lyrics do you have for us tonight?
Well, I mean, this is almost too obvious, but then I thought, well, I better check it out before I just go, running my mouth about it. But Queen's Under Pressure, which is actually a David Bowie song, and David Bowie and Freddie Mercury of Queen are doing like a duet, and part of the chorus. And I don't know, I don't know that I've ever actually listened to the lyrics or read the lyrics, but here we're going to do it now because it fits the situation. Let's see. It's the terror of knowing what this world is about. Watching some good friends screaming, "Let me out." Pray tomorrow gets me higher, higher and high. Pressure on people on the streets. And then there's a bridge, and then it says, turned away from it all like a blind man, sat on a fence, but it don't work. Coming up with love, but it's so slashed and torn. Why, love, love, love. Insanity laughs under pressure, and we're breaking. Man, I'd never even listened to this thing before. It says, can't we give ourselves more of a chance? Which I think this is what we're all about here. We're trying to figure out how to get out of our own way and give ourselves a chance. Why can't we give love that one more chance? Why can't we give love, give love, give love? And then it goes on to say give love multiple times. And I know you've said the only song we need to sing here is by the Beatles, and that's all you need is love, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I have never actually read those lyrics. And
what was the part about? Read that part about insanity again.
Well, we know you as a lawyer know that the world's insane. I mean, you get to see the backside of all the stuff that goes wrong in the world, and people come to you and say, "Help me straighten this out." Let's see, where did it say that? It's the terror knowing the world is about, watching my good friends screaming, "Let me out." Let's see. Oh, where was it? Insanity laughs under pressure when we're breaking. So
Insanity
the
lasts
insanity
under
is laughing.
huh?
The insanity is laughing at us because we're breaking.
Oh. I
So
thought it said insanity is lasting while we're
no,
under pressure.
it-
You said
insanity is laughing at us. So somebody is getting a real kick out of our despair, out of our being overwhelmed with the world.
I
And
totally believe that.
who we all. I mean, if you are a good, uh, if you believe in a higher power, which both of us do, we know who's laughing at us when we're overwhelmed or in a disparaging. If we're in despair, we all know what the source of that is, and it's not the higher power.
No.
It's the opposite of that.
He's got you right where he wants you.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
that's a tool that gets well used out of that toolbox, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah. He loves having you fear gripped.
Yeah. And be sad and feel like we're just
You know why?
there's
Because
so much
he's
happening
wanting-
we can't succeed.
And then guess what? He gets to go on to the next person. He don't even worry about you anymore because
Right.
you know.
Yep.
So listen, when you feel overwhelmed, like something hits you in the nose, you know, Sek and I felt overwhelmed after my brother passed. 30 days later, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And it was almost too much for me, right? We had 2 babies on the ground. Anyways, we felt overwhelmed. So we were called, we weren't sleeping, called the doctor. He gave us Ambien, and that didn't work. I'm like, dude, you know, so getting on a prescription sleeping pill did not work, right?
I think that in itself is a treacherous path.
Yeah. So what we did is I did DBAP and I put a plan together because I'd learned from my brother's cancer what to do and what not to do. So I knew I wanted to get it out of my wife's body as fast as I could. So I put the right team together. And it was amazing that we kicked its tail pretty quick, you know. But we were overwhelmed. And so how do you conquer being overwhelmed?
That's a good question. The thing is I think that people have to establish a pretty firm foundation. Even says it in the Bible. If you believe in the Bible, you know, the wise man builds his house upon what? A rock, not sand. And
Yeah.
if having construction experience, I can very much see that the importance of that is establishing a firm foundation. And
Well, you have to. I love that, but you got to get real with yourself on some stuff. Going out drinking at the bar doesn't work. Okay, smoking dope, marijuana, junk weed, whatever it is that you're smoking, that doesn't work. Right. So your body, if you're feeling overwhelmed, the first thing you got to do is take care of your body. And you got to watch what food you're eating because your stomach is your second brain.
I've never heard it put that way, but you're right about that.
It is. It's your second brain. So you got to take care of it. So here we are. Okay, look, I'm overwhelmed. I just got sued, whatever. I need to slow it down. I need to get 3 people out of that 10-finger list you have and put a panel together as my counsel to help me through this. I need to put a plan together on working out, eating well, and drinking water. Okay. That's phase 1 and taking care of yourself. Phase 2 of taking care of yourself is this is really cool, Carcass. Get your pencil down, start taking notes. Carcass, there's meditation classes nowadays that are really, really cool and good. And there are like, they've got neat self-improvement classes like the glass tubes. Have you heard of those?
No.
They're at the W has them where you're in the pool and this guy plays the glass tubes while you're laying there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Relax.
Like the crystal glasses.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I was feeling not overwhelmed, but I've had this virus, and I totally emptied my tank last week with 3 lawyers with me. And I told Sega, I said, man, I just can't get my gas. So I went to that nutrition IV place on Greenville Avenue. I got an IV full of magnesium, IB, and what do you call it? Electrolytes. I had to refurbish my body, what I've lost. I feel so much better already, you know?
Well, I think that when we're under stress, especially when we're completely overwhelmed by our stress or our situation, that we don't take care of even the basics. And
Right.
so getting back to the basics, like you said, like regenerate, refeed, readdress, those types of things. And I think your idea to look on your right hand and your left hand and see who you could trust in this situation, that's, not everybody that I have in that community, those friends that I have on each hand,
No,
not every one of them, is going to be good for my situation.
3. You need to pick 3 and put them on your panel.
Right.
Call
But
your
what I'm
panel.
saying is if I have 8 or 9 or 10, unfortunately, I lost one a month ago. Then I need to pick which 3 will be the best suited for my situation.
Right. And then you need to do some type of journaling. Like one of my team gave me for my birthday last week a real neat daily journal book where it has for the morning and then the evening, like 3 things you want to pray for today. What do you need to be great today? What do you want to accomplish today? And then at the evening part is, you revisit it. I love that. Journaling is a roadmap to victory. I truly believe that.
Wow. I'm going to quote you on that and write that down.
It is. It's a roadmap to victory. When you're feeling overwhelmed, you got to put it down on paper. You got to put a plan together. You have to go, what if your wife cheats on you and all of a sudden you've got 2 kids at home, you're feeling overwhelmed and you're not used to this and you're having a hard time doing it by yourself. You got to put a plan together. You got to get yourself out of the ditch.
I think too many people talk about it and don't write it down and I think that's where you get your organizational action part is actually writing it down and saying, here it is in black and white. You let other people know about it, and then you go from there. Just talking about it it's feathers in the wind, man, and you can't keep those organized.
Here's the other thing, the reason you want to write it down is you want to write it down for that day. You got to live one day at a time. One day at a time. What do you need to do that day to help get yourself out of the ditch? I got to feed my kids in the morning. I got to take them to school. Lunch, they're cool. I got to pick them up at 3:00. If I can't do it, I got to have someone do it. And I gotta figure out my wife's cheating, so I got to get a lawyer. I got to lawyer up. I got to protect my kids. I got to protect myself, and I got to move forward down the river of life. And for that day, that's all you do is you make a compliment. And somehow you got to figure out how to find some peace and some fun in that travesty that you're in the middle of. You just can't stay down in the ditch digging all the time. You got to come up and have fun. And it can't be drinking or drugging. smoking
All
dope.
that's going to do is get you in trouble, and then you still have the same exact problem the next day,
Yeah,
and you've with even more complications.
yeah, that's true.
I think when things are that serious and that overwhelming, that a quick strike. I mean, you need the SWAT team. You don't need to think about calling the cops. You need to call in your own emotion. The emotional police is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You need to call the emotional SWAT team and just have them get in, get out, and let's get this done. Don't let it linger. Obviously, if it's that bad, if a situation is that condition critical that someone is cheating on their spouse, which is
Well,
absolutely horrific, then you need to just,
you got to switch it up. I
yeah.
remember when I was going through that, I had a pastor tell me, I said, man, I'm praying every day, praying. Same prayer every day. He goes, well, then change your prayer. Hey, the minute I changed it up, man, I started throwing fastballs again. You know,
Yeah.
oh, I see what's going on here now. You know, we're going to fix this real quick.
Well, it's no different in sports. If the batters know you're throwing all fastballs, they're going to look for a fastball,
Right.
and you start to succeed as a pitcher when you throw them a changeup or a curve or a slider or something else. You can't just, if what you have is not working, then stop throwing a fastball. Throw something else.
I remember when I was going through the turmoil I was in my first marriage, the first thing I wrote on my journal was, I'm going to write everything down and not waste one bit of this travesty. And I'm going to learn from it. And I did. I learned from it. And it kept me honest. You know what I mean? You go into a marriage with respect, you leave it with respect.
I think writing things down not only helps us learn what we need to do and what we should be doing, but it helps other people be accountable too. I mean, I used to walk into job interviews with a notepad and a pen, and they'd start talking, and I'd start writing, and they would like, "What are you doing?" I'm writing down what you're telling me here, and
you
I
know,
have a list of questions on another page that I hope you answer.
you know what the old saying is?
What's that?
Note takers or money makers.
Well, bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom, babe. That's it. So let's talk about what else you do when you feel overwhelmed. Lifting weights is good because you got
You
to.
know, since I've actually had the fortunates to get back in the gym, and it hasn't cost me a penny yet. Um, I feel better. I've lost some weight that I needed to lose. I sleep better. There's a whole lot of things that are of benefit to that, and my daughter being the the fitness guru that she is, she's rolling her eyes right now. She's listening because she's saying, Dad, I've been telling you this. And I know the fact of the matter is I was the fitness guru before she was even born,
Yeah, but dude, she's gone to the next level.
but she's at next level.
She's at
But
the she's on the cover of that Muscle magazine, man.
but she's to the point where she's happy for me enough to the point where she's telling me and she's giving me the elbow saying, see, I told you so, but I'm so glad that you're doing it. She's happy that I'm actually there. So, but to tell you the truth, that as I look back, because I journal quite a bit and I do these things that I just call diary of a rad man, where I just sit down and write anything. I don't have to necessarily have a subject, but some of those are very telling as to how I was feeling that day and my situation. But the one thing that is the key is physical activity or physical fitness,
Will help you.
and that helps you clear your head and helps you sleep better and helps all those things.
I will also say that getting a counselor one-on-one with counseling is a tool. It's not a crutch. It's a tool. If you get a good one, Deanne Moore, awesome. Rebecca Nelson, awesome. Good ones that are, that don't just listen to you, watch their watch and then run your debit card. Ones that help you grow.
I had an experience with a gal named Mary Lee Roberts. Bless her heart. I hope she's still here. She was someone described her as the mini female version of Dr. Phil, and she was. She talked with that beautiful Texas Southern drawl, and I thought, she was there just to fix the marriage. And after my significant other at the time decided, we had 10 sessions scheduled, and after the first session where she did all the talking, um, I showed up for the second session, and so somehow Mary Lee said, well, you know, your significant other isn't coming because you're broken and I'm supposed to fix you. And so I was put off by that. But then I thought, well, you know what? They're scheduled, they're paid for. I'm going to do this. This is way out of my comfort level. And here I am basically telling this woman that I didn't really know, but somehow I trusted her. She just had an air about her. And you know what, Brett? I learned a lot about myself.
Yeah.
A lot about my
Me too.
situation and my family.
Yeah, me too. And I started breaking
Barriers.
and ancient long junk that was in my family. I was like, oh no, man, I'm raising girls, dude. I got to be on my game. You know what I mean? I got to leave some of this stuff here behind because I don't ever want my daughters to hear me raise my voice. That's not cool. You know what I mean?
No.
If you're I feel overwhelmed when I feel frustrated or manipulated. And somebody comes at me with those two things, they're going to get the bear. And I like to know what's going on because if I know what the fastball looks like, I could deal with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You got to know what's going on. A lot of women get caught with the narcissistic pigs. And so they got to, go to therapy, read the books, educate themselves, because knowledge is power on what's going on. And then you tell your spouse, dude, you're doing this, 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 and this. You're a narcissist. I'm going to stay with you because I want you to break that cycle in your family, but you need to go to counseling and you need to work on this, this, and this. And I'm going to work on this, this, and this. And then after a while, we'll get somebody to be in the middle and see if the two shall meet. If not, get on down the road, Jack. Treat somebody else like that.
To your point, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
But knowledge without action, I mean, that's what makes you a winner. When you apply that knowledge and you work at it.
Oh yeah, and that's where the power comes.
Right. Because
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that know, I know. And my dad I used to say the same thing to my parents. Yeah, I know. And they'd say, okay, Einstein, so when is it gonna change?
Oh yeah.
When is it gonna be different?
Man, I tell people you need to pick that lawsuit up and read it. I don't want to read it. Knowledge is power, dude. You need to read it. And then we're going to go to battle. That's the way it works. Also, if you can't afford counseling, go to your preacher, go to your priest. I love my priest, man. He's an Aggie. He's awesome. He's awesome. And he's real. And he's nice. Good to go. See your priest. I went and saw Pastor Tommy Nelson one time. Have you ever heard of him?
I've heard of him.
Oh, dude. You talking about that military cut. His haircut and his word is the same. It's military. He was a quarterback at North Texas, pastor at Denton Bible Church. He's the most awesome Christian man. He used to do the Songs of Solomon Bible class in North Dallas. We used to.
Oh boy, bet that was exciting for a lot of folks.
They recorded him. I mean, but he's who witnessed me, man. And there was there was no strawberry jelly put on that peanut butter sandwich. It was all peanut butter. And you better eat it, you better chew it, and you better like it. Oh,
Well, like on our list of things to do to improve your life, chew slowly and enjoy it. So
yes.
you had to do that. That was that was down the list a little bit, but anyway, no, I hear you loud and clear.
What
I
else
just
you
think,
gotta do when you're overwhelmed?
well, you said something about meditation,
Uh-huh.
and some people will call that pondering. I call that pondering, where you clear your deck, clear your mind, shut your phone off, leave it in the car, do whatever you have to do, and you become at peace with yourself, and then you pray. You when I think when you clear the deck, your prayers are more effective.
Yeah, no question. But
So
you gotta breathe. Look, if you catch yourself sometimes when you're in, uh, overwhelmed, your breaths are real short. You know what I mean?
yep.
But when you meditate, you breathe deep. That's making sure you're taking care of your body and your mind and your
Uh,
soul.
One of the things I've rekindled my interest in working out is breathing techniques during reps or doing heavy weight or whatever. And there's different ways to breathe. And something I wasn't doing is as I wasn't exhaling as I was exerting,
Yeah.
and I had to learn how to relearn how to breathe, basically, and realizing that you can't just grit your teeth and hold your breath and that weight's going to move. You got to blow that weight up, basically. And
Mhm.
so it was just another thing, and it was something very simple. And I think that's part of this being overwhelmed. I think the remedy can sometimes be as simple as just giving ourselves some headspace to not be cluttered and not be and find a peaceful area in our heads, because we're pondering our situation.
Well, you have to be the calm in the eye of the storm. So everything's blowing around you and furniture's flying by and shingles are flying by. You got to be still. You know what I mean? You have to be still and listen.
A- Agreed.
So let's go over the quote of the day before we close up
All right.
because I want to talk about it. Many of us feel stress and get overwhelmed not because we're taking on too much, but because we're taking on too little of what really strengthens us. Marcus Buckingham.
Yeah.
Is that not the truth? You know,
Shakespeare would call that being in the thick of thin things,
yeah.
where yeah, maybe we're not doing enough to
Well,
support ourselves
well,
mentally, physically, or
maybe
emotionally.
we're doing a lot of the wrong things. You
Yeah.
know, maybe we need to get rid of a few friends that aren't really friends. Maybe we need to change a church.
Boy, that's a whole new episode.
Yeah. Maybe whatever it is, maybe we have to leave this pile of trash over here and call it like we see it, trash, and start building our own garden over here.
Yeah. Well, Chuck D from Public Enemy said, if you can't change the people around you, then change the people around you.
Oh yeah, dude. The Greek
So
the Greeks have an old saying too,
you're
Carcass.
dead to me.
You're dead to me.
I
And
bet your I
say
bet your
you're dead to
cemetery's
me,
littered with those people.
when they say you're dead to me, they mean it.
Yeah. And I
Wow.
don't know that. I mean, maybe we do need to be that harsh when it comes to some of this debris that you're talking about.
Oh,
That's cluttering our brains and
absolutely.
making us feel overwhelmed.
Absolutely. So what's the three takeaways of the show tonight, Carcass? Number one,
Establish a firm foundation. Establish a firm foundation.
okay. Number two,
Seek counseling.
number three,
Take care of yourself.
your body,
Well, that's what I mean.
and your second brain.
Yeah, your stomach.
Yes. Anyways, I love you guys. I think this is a little bit, I like this show being 30 minutes because I think that I don't want to take more of your time than what we do already. We love you guys. Reach out to us. You can call my law office. You can reach out to us via text or via our website, whatever. Be glad to answer. You guys have a great night. Thank you very much.
Thank you. See you next time.